covered in snow right now. This year, it's going to be a slower year as far as projects go, since we've got our new little one here. And we've like shifted our focus slightly just to get used to being a new family, to a newborn. So we have a few projects in mind, garden beds being one of them. We're definitely going to get started on that. But since we've pretty much set up all the foundational stuff like water and power, and a nice comfy place to live, we're going to slow down on some of the projects this year and just really focus on our new little family and spending time together and adjusting to new parenthood. But we will be working on the property as much as possible, garden beds being one of our biggest projects. Sifting our compost pile. Andrew made a little screen, so he's working on sifting out the nice compost soil that we've created from the stuff that hasn't broken down just yet, and creating a new compost pile here of what still needs time to break down, while the good compost filters underneath into the barrel. And we'll be using this compost that we've been working on for the last almost year on our garden beds this season. We got a lot more than we expected. All of the juniper pine needles broke down. As you can see, there's still some bark and stuff that needs time to break down. We've been adding food waste over the last year. We've been putting in a lot of nitrogen, a lot of carbon with ash from our fire pit.
Yep. Manure from the
cows that cruise around our property. And we've got a good amount of compost, which is super exciting because we weren't exactly sure how this was going to work, if it was going to truly break down, but it has, so we're on the right track. And like I said, we'll use this in our garden beds this season, which we're going to be getting a start on in the next week or so, and hopefully we'll be successful with our harvest this year.
Alright, so I'm going to be working on our compost right here. So I've already removed the ring, and I'm switching to this. It's a smaller ring in diameter and a little bit taller, just to build my pile up a lot higher. And then I've added that additional very fine wire mesh to it as well. And so I'm going to be adding to this. So you can already see there's some green in there. I had already ran the compost through a screener and collected the leftover, which is a lot of this. You can just see, you know, we actually got a decent amount. This is the leftover for like a whole year of throwing food scraps, table scraps in there, sawdust, manure, ashes from the fire pit, all kinds of organic material. This again is all from our one compost from last year. Not you know, crazy amount, but I think it's pretty good amount. And it's our first time ever trying to make compost, I guess, or soil. So it's really fine. It's very nice and airy. It doesn't stink at all. It just smells like dirt. So I was pretty happy, just that it actually worked. But we did what's, oh look, there's a little bit of green still in there. There's still eggshells, but I think it's still pretty good. Maybe it needs more time, but I think it's pretty good. Nice and moist. And I shifted it out, I don't know, maybe a week ago or so, maybe 10 days or something like that. And I just rigged up this expanded metal over the wheelbarrow, attached some pieces of wood to it, and I would just, you know, scoop the compost into right here, and all the loose stuff fell behind, and then everything that was still big, I just literally like tipped this over and dumped it. So when we were at the lumber yard, I picked up a bunch of wood chips. So all these containers are full of wood chips. So I got that. I got a bunch of ash from the fire pit. This is old potting mix from dead plants. So there's still like a bunch of roots and stuff in there. So I'm just going to add this to the compost and just let it break down as well. This is charcoal. Very little bit, but I wanted to get some like charcoal chunks. In here, this is a bunch of cow manure that we've just collected from around. You know, you just drive around and you'll find a bunch of cow poop under a tree or something. So I just would go around with a shovel and collect it, and I just broke it up. And then again, this is our original leftover compost from our pile here. And from what I've been seeing, it's good to kind of give your compost some type of like a starter, you know, putting some good microbacteria back into the pile and not just starting with fresh materials. That way it kind of gets the process started a little bit faster. So that's why I'm going to be using the old compost, adding it back in there, and then just building my layers. I also have been experimenting with a natural water filter to recycle the gray water from the washing machine, and that's what I got going on right here. So it's just rocks and sand, pea gravel. I've got some juniper in there, juniper bark, just a bunch of stuff to screen the gray water from the washing machine, and then it just falls into this IBC tote, and we're just going to be using that for the garden, for irrigation. So yeah, just trying to do like a nice closed loop around here. My hopes is in the future, I said it probably 1,000 times, is I want to get my own wood chipper so I can create mulch. All these other materials we just get here on the land, and then repurpose our gray water for irrigation. I think we'll be doing pretty good. That way we can get hopefully a good garden going, start growing some produce, and we can feed that garden just from, you know, byproducts of our stuff, like like the water, you know, where we got to wash our clothes with clean water, and instead of just dumping it down the drain or onto the land, just filter it a little bit and then feed it to the garden. So today I'm just going to be mixing some of these materials together. I'm thinking about doing a lot of the potting soil with the ash, just so it's not so dusty and just flying everywhere. And then layers of the wood chips of that, the original compost. I've got the manure, and we add to this compost pretty much daily. You know, Ashley cooks a lot of home cooked meals, and there's always just little clippings and cut-offs and stuff like that. So yeah, we just kind of add a green nitrogen source pretty much daily. Same with like coffee grounds. You know, I'm pretty much throwing coffee in here, coffee grounds daily. So yeah, we're just building another pile for this year, and eventually as the homestead and the property grows, we'll have more organic material, and we can just build multiple compost piles. At least that's the plan. Okay, I'm gonna get to work. Okay, so working on the second compost ring now. I had to go make another one. Starting to fill it, and then I wanted to show an example of like daily food scraps we throw in. So when Ashley's cooking, these are just cut-offs from the memo. So we've got some eggs, some cilantro, a banana, like an apple, you know, and then in here is coffee. It's our coffee press. So I'm gonna add those right on top, and I just throw stuff like this just straight in pretty much daily, and it just does what it does. It breaks down. So just wanted to show that real fast. Okay, so there's both of them made. So I still have the large wood chips. I have a little bit more manure and a little bit more of the ash potting soil mix. So I think I'm gonna get all of those three, mix them up in the wheelbarrow, and just sprinkle it all throughout here as I finish up and clean up. So let's do that. I'm not looking right in the sun. Get over here.